Hello, LAPCS scholars. Mr. Raleigh here. And today we are going to be doing a reading on the Declaration of Independence, the document that started this country that we live in here. So it's kind of an important thing. It was written mostly by Jefferson, by Thomas Jefferson, but there were several other founding fathers who contributed, but he was the primary author. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read through it. You're going to do these questions. I'll read each of the questions as well. So while I'm reading it, please be following along. Just like yesterday with Thomas Paine in his Common Sense, it's written in that older, English language. So it can be a little bit difficult to understand. So bear with me. I will read it slowly. And so here we go. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. So the Declaration of Independence, Passage 1. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So, what's the question here? The first question is, according to the above passage, what do the colonists want to do? Just look at the passage, answer the question. Passage 2. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute a new government. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient or temporary causes. But when a long train of abuses reduce them under absolute despotism or abuse of power, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. So, what are these questions here? So, the first one is, what truths does Thomas Jefferson talk about in this passage? What truths does Thomas Jefferson talk about in this passage? Number two, do you think the statement, all men are created equal, meant the same thing then in 1776 as it does today? And explain why. Number three, according to the second paragraph, what is the source of government power? And number four, according to this passage, when do people have the right to overthrow a government? Passage 3. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object an establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. First one, he has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislators or lawmakers. Second one, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us. Third one, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world. Last one, for imposing taxes on us without our consent. We're going to be talking about no taxation without representation a little bit more. Don't forget that. So let me look at the questions here. So number one, name the specific British policies or acts. Remember, those laws are called acts, okay, that led to these particular grievances. Number two, if you were a colonist during this time, would you have agreed with this list of grievances? and explain. How well did Jefferson express the grievances of the colonists? Explain. Okay, so passage 4. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, due in the name and the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. Questions. Number 1. What are the main ideas expressed by Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence? Number 2. How well did Jefferson express the ideas of the American people in 1776? Number 3. Do you agree with Jefferson's belief that people have to suffer many abuses in the process of creating a new government? Why or why not? Number 4. How effectively does the Declaration justify rebellion? Number 5. To what extent is the Declaration of Independence a democratic document? And number 6. To what extent have the democratic ideals expressed in the Declaration been achieved? So there you have it. Right, we read through some of the important passages of the Declaration of Independence. You will sit here and answer these questions. Make sure you do that. Please come and see Miss Marks or myself in Zoom. Email me or Miss Marks if you have questions. But please get the work done. It's very important that you do so. This is going to be some information that you're going to need to do the essay question at the end of this week. So that's kind of a big deal. All right. So get to it. Have a good rest of your day. And thank you for listening. Watch it over and over again if you must. Okay.